You've come a long way from the streets of Caloocan to, well, you're practically sitting on top of the world here in your law office. How has the journey been?
The journey has been exciting, no? And fulfilling.
Tough. I'm sure tough.
Tough, but exciting and fulfilling. And they always say that the fun is in the journey, not so much the achievement, no, of your goal.
I saw where you grew up and wow, it was really, kung pupunta ka sa siguro mahihirap na lugar dito sa Maynila.
That's exactly mahirap na lugar for you.
Pwede po ba nating balikan kung saan kayo nagsimula?
Well, ako'y galing sa mahirap na pamilya, no? So basically deprived, no, childhood. No? My father was not rich, no, ordinary employee, and my mom was an ordinary housewife, no? Simply assisting my dad.
Ganong kahirap ang buhay nun?
Tanda ko pa, there was one meal that I had to share with my brother. Tuyo, na paghatian namin. Isang pisngi sa kanya, isang pisngi sa akin. No? Si Arnold, ngayon na konsehal ng Caloocan. Our soup, no, consisted of tamarind na dinikdik namin, nilagay ng tubig at asin, that we mixed it all together. Our soup, and of course the meal was consisted of a simple dried fish, tuyo. But there was rice galore because, you know, dried fish is salty.
Only rice.
So only rice. So that's, we made do with that. No?
Would you say na your house was one of the, parang may ganyan? Were you that humble? Ang beginnings ninyo?
Mas maliit pa dyan.
Talaga? Ganong kaliit?
Maliit na maliit lang.
mas maliit yan.
Natutulog kami ito sa tubig.
Okay.
Minsan sa lamesa kami natutulog dito. Kasi mataas ang baha.
Pagbahak. Kasi maliit na yung bahay namin, mga 24 square meters lang. So,
Double deck.
24 square meters?
Oo, bahay namin.
Did you feel growing up that you were poor? Kasi kung wala naman kayong basis of comparison.
We were very happy. You know, that's one thing I realized in life. Happiness not so much, it's not about being wealthy. Happiness is contentment. No? And we're contented with that kind of arrangement, that kind of, setup.
Was he really very smart?
Inaasahan talaga siya magiging successful.
Talagang
Napaka-studious din.
Lumalaban kami ng pustahan. Magaling sa shooting to eh. Tsaka big sa bilyan.
That's how we make money.
So you would bet on him?
Yes.
Magkano ang
That time,
maiuwi niyo?
piso-piso.
Piso-piso lang.
Centavos. Malaki din ang araw.
Tsaka chess, billiard yan. So, that's how I made money.
I think your brothers mentioned that sometimes naglalakad lang kayo papuntang eskwelahan.
Yes. Pag bisa, walang baon eh. So, maglalakad ka. At least you're able to save 2 pesos at that time, no? Na malaking bagay na. I also sold torotot when I was in law school. Pag New Year, I was selling torotot to raise money for, for my
Did you
needs.
ever feel small because of your poverty or ashamed?
No, nothing to be ashamed of, right? Nothing to be ashamed of being poor as long as what is shameful is do something wrong.
Hindi kayo nahiya na magbenta ng torotot?
Bakit naman wala namang masama sa pagbenta ng mga turot.
Let's go back to the time when you passed the bar and you became a full-fledged lawyer. What was your first job?
I was a clerk of court, RTC Pasig, no? And then joined Equitable Bank after 1 year. And from ABP, I rose to Executive Vice President. And I think I was the youngest EVP at that time of Equitable Bank, now Banco de Oro.
How did they spot you? I mean, you're just a clerk of court.
I applied. A good friend of mine referred me. I was made to wait. I got hired with a very high position at the start. Assistant Vice President is...
What was the thinking of applying for a clerk of court?
I realize now the reason why I started as a clerk of court and then ended up with a bank before I put up my law firm is I will be a combination of corporate and litigation, which is very rare for a lawyer. Some lawyers are good in corporate practice, some are good in litigation, but there are very few lawyers who can be be good in both corporate and litigation. And I now realize God is preparing me to be a combination of corporate and litigation lawyer.
Although as clerk of court, 1 year lang na experience.
But I was researcher before I was clerk of court. So before I passed the bar, I was a researcher.
Lahat,
Rape,
estafa,
murder,
oo.
lahat ng kaso, kahit 1 year lang yan, lahat ng kaso nakita ko.
So you went for the experience,
Experience, yes.
the exposure.
Exposure,
So ibig sabihin,
experience.
hindi agad kayamanan ng...
At saka malaki sahod ng clerk of court dati. 12,000 malaki na, 1989, 90.
Why not stay? Maybe an easier time.
Easier time.
Yeah,
yes,
less challenging.
near risk, but I had enough seed money. I mean, good to last for 2 to 3 years. So that's why I told the first lawyers of the firm, I have money good enough for 3 years. So, but after 3 years, if you don't make money, we say goodbye to one another. No, we start with 5 lawyers. So you sink or swim with me. But you know, my first 3 months in the law firm,
You had to hire more?
No, equivalent to my 3-year salary as EVP of the bank.
Wow.
First 3 months.
Really?
And I said, my God, I should have done this earlier. No, I should have done this earlier. So,
When you made real money, kasi imagine sabi mo kanina, 2 piso, malaking bagay, maglalakad ka na lang para sa 2 piso na pwede mong ibaon or ipampili ng pagkain. When you made your first real money, how did you treat yourself?
first money, I treated my mom, of course, my family. Diway mo sa labas. So. Kasi dati-dati, pag yung tatay ko uwi ng bahay, may dala ng balot, maligaya na kami. No? May dalang pansit sa Savory, maligaya na kami. No? I brought them to Savory restaurant. Kasi yung sa Binondo pa, Escolta at that time, yung pinakamasarap na Savory. Wala na siya ngayon, pero I remember, I brought them to Savory. We had a very good meal.
How do you reward yourself?
I
Ano
don't...
yung mga luho ninyo?
I travel, but with my boys, no? I have 5 boys, I do 1-on-1. So that means that I travel at least 5 times a year. At
Isa-isa
least.
silang
Isa-isa, merong 1-on-1.
Ano?
Because, you know, everyone has his own, you know, concerns. No?
Yeah.
And when we go out, all of us, they all competed for my attention. So, sino ba pakinggan mo? Sino sila lahat ng salita?
Kasi 5.
Dad, ako naman. Dad, ano ba? I'm still talking. Ganyan. So, I decided I should have 1-on-1 with them. So, if you can say luho, again, that's it. No? I travel a lot, of course, to spend time with my boys, no? With my family.
What would you say your number 1 philosophy in life?
My basic philosophy has always been, so you have to work as if everything depends on work, but you have to pray as if everything depends on prayer.
Ganon.
Dalawa, sa work, tsaka prayer lang naman ba? Hard work and prayer is always the best formula.
You're not the type of person who rests on your laurels.
There are many more to conquer.
You could slow down, right?
I'm only 58.
You said you are a dreamer, no? And it looks to me like you've already achieved most of the dreams that you had.
You have to continue dreaming because the moment you stop dreaming, what's the point of living, right? We have many dreams that have been fulfilled, thanks be to God, but we have many more dreams. No?
Making $1 billion pesos, check.
But thanks be to God, check. As a professor, I told myself I have to write a very comprehensive reviewer for the good of my students. That's done. And I get comments that, sir, this is the best reviewer in commercial law. Again, of course, thanks be to God. And the patronage that we get from students. And then, of course, putting up a law firm which is pro-employee, pro-client, same time pro-employee. We have a retirement fund and a provident fund. Check, right? Because 2 of my boys have special needs. No? So my next dream is to put up a home for the aged and special children. At the same time, a place where my lawyers and staff can retire.